Hello, my name is Ian Neal, and I want to teach you so that you can tell if two IP addresses are in the same subnet within 30 seconds without anything other than a paper and pen. First of all, both the IP addresses must have the same subnet mask. So, for example, here we've got PC1. His IP address is 131.107.32.15. PC2 has a different IP address of 131.107.31.254. They both have the same subnet mask, 255.255.224.0. So where do we start? We start by looking at the subnet mask. So we find the subnet mask value that I want, and it cannot be 0. So if I go from the right-hand side, I cannot use 0. So the value I'm going to use is 224. Then I'm going to adopt the magic number. The magic number is 256. So I subtract the subnet mask value from 256 to get a range. So it's 256 minus 224 equals 32. 32 is my range. This is the multiples of IP addresses that each subnet goes up in. So we lay out the first 4 subnets. Subnet 1 always starts with a 0. Then we add 32. So subnet 2 is 32. We add 32 again. So subnet 3 is 64. Then we add 32 again. So subnet 4 is 96. Now, let's look at these IP addresses. Because I've used the third value, the third octet in the subnet mask, I need the third octet on both IP addresses. So PC1, I need 32, and PC2, I need 31. So because subnet 2 starts at 32, 1 ends in 31. Subnet 3 is 64, so subnet 2 ends in 63. So the subnets end one less than the next one going up. Now let's see which subnet is PC1 in. He's in the range 32 to 63 because he's got 32. And PC2 is in the range 0 to 31 because his value is 31. So even though they look very close, they're incompatible and cannot work in the same subnet. So I'm going to move on to a demo. Here's the demo that I'm going to do. I'm going to bring up my whiteboard and I'm going to use PC1, who's got 158.15.33.75, and PC2, he's got 158.15.38.46, and I've got a subnet mask value of 255.255.224.0. So let me unshare my screen and bring up my whiteboard. Now, what I'm going to do first of all is I'm going to write that question at the top of my whiteboard so you can see what I'm doing. So we look at PC1. He's got 158.15.33 and 75. Now, PC2, he's got the IP address of 158.15.38 and 46. And they both use the same subnet mask value. And the mask is going to be 255 240 0. Now, I'm going to move through this a little bit quicker than my previous one. So I'm going to use a blue pen. So I go to the mask value. I can't use the 0, so I use the 240. I take my 256, I take my 240 away, and that gives me a range of 16. I'm going to lay out 4 subnets, 1, 2, 3, and 4. The first one will start at 0, then I'll add 16, I'll add 16 again, I'll add 16 again. Where does it end? It ends in 15, it ends in 31, it ends in 47, and it ends in 63. So let's go and get the values from PC1, which will be 33, and PC2, which will be 38. So what we've got here, PC1, he's 33, and PC2, he's 38, and that means they're both compatible. And I slowed that demo down so you can understand it. My name is Ian Neil. I hope you've enjoyed this. Let's go back for a summary of what we've just done. So if I share my screen, and I'll go back to the very beginning, how can we tell if 2 IP addresses in the same subnet? They must have the same subnet mask. So here's our 2 IP addresses, and they've got the same subnet mask. Then I go to the subnet mask, and I take the first value from the right-hand side that's not a 0, 224. Then I take the magic number 256. I take the 224 away. That gives me 32. 32 is the range. So I'll lay out subnet 1, 2, 3, and 4. Subnet 1 starts in 0. Then we add 32. Add 32. Add it again. Now, because I've taken the third octet from the subnet mask, I take the third octet from PC1 and PC2. I don't need all 4 octets. Subnet 1, where does it end? In 31. It ends in 63. It's always 1 less than the subnet above. Let's look to see where PC1 is. He's in the 32, so he's in subnet 2. And PC2, he's in a different subnet. So these 2 are incompatible. This will help you with the exam. We did that demo. They were in the same subnet. And this was an extract from Ian Neil's book. It's on sale on Amazon. It's Ian Neil's CompTIA Network Plus. I've written this book to help young people get ahead and move on with their career. At the moment, I've had 14 reviews. They're all 5-star. And this book has only been out like a month. So thank you very much. I hope you've enjoyed this. My name is Ian Neil.